When I was about 10 years old, we moved into the house where my mother still lives. The house stood about an acre from the road, boasting a charming gravel driveway flanked by a colorful canopy of assorted trees and flowers. The backyard was an open field of meticulously manicured lawn, adjacent to a hunting lease. It was the paradise we had always dreamt of, and we were overjoyed to move in. We hadn't been there a month before I encountered Fred. The neighborhood kids quickly grew fond of our little Eden, endearingly labeling my mom as the crazy bird lady because of her collection of exotic birds. Among them, Ginger stood out. Ginger, an aging blue and gold macaw, was a cantankerous creature with a penchant for foul language. My mom referred to her as the alarm bird because Ginger would screech incessantly when anyone entered the driveway, alerting the entire block to incoming visitors. Ginger despised children, other animals, and seemed to have a venomous streak that spared no one. One night, I went to a neighbor's house to watch movies. My mom had entrusted me with a key so I wouldn't disturb my brother upon returning. Ginger, with her towering cage, resided in my room. As I quietly entered the house, I could hear Ginger muttering "cracker," her go-to word for food. A sign someone had just given her a snack or was trying to coax her out of her cage. To my alarm, I heard the distinct sound of her cage opening and her claws scraping against the metal as she climbed out. Panicked, I dashed through the living room, up the 4 marble steps, and into my room. Expecting to find my brother had let her loose. But my brother was sound asleep in his room, and my mom was equally dead to the world and hers. And yet, Ginger was out, her cage door wide open. Bewildered, I couldn't fathom how she could escape, especially since her cage had a combination lock. To thwart her escape artist tendencies. Before I could turn to wake my mom for help, something caught my eye, compelling me to flip on the light. Kneeling on one knee with one hand on his hip and his other elbow propped, stood a man. A thin but muscular man clad in an all-black double-breasted suit and a black fedora. His hair, jet black, cascaded past his waist, and his eyes, those eyes, inhumanly white and eerily glowing, pierced through the darkness. Ginger, equally transfixed, had her gaze locked on him. While I contemplated how to react, he looked at me, grinned mischievously, and vanished as if he were merely a 3D projection. Poof, gone. Ginger snapped out of her stupor and screeched with such ferocity that it woke up my mom. Now my mom, a sweet lady, had 2 triggers, endangering her children and waking her from sleep. Ginger had done the latter, transforming my mom into a seething beast. With motherly might, she yanked me off the floor by my shirt collar and scolded me harshly, ignoring my frantic attempts to explain. After disciplining me, she single-handedly grabbed Ginger, tossed her back on her perch, and locked the cage. Then she came back for me. As a notorious runner, my mom kept my hair long to grab hold of me whenever I attempted to bolt. And bolt I did, but her sleep-deprived fury made her faster. She snatched me by my ponytail, dragged me to her room, and locked me on the couch across from her bed, ordering me to sleep without further disruptions. Knowing better than to argue, I complied. The next morning, awakened by the familiar aroma of community dark roast coffee, I ventured out to find my mom. Standing at my bedroom door, she wore a look of astonishment. There was Ginger, out of her cage and nibbling on one of my shoes.